Hi everyone, welcome to WT CodePad, and in this particular video I'll tell you manual login system in Laravel. Laravel has different packages by which we can create login or authentication system just like Laravel Breeze, Laravel Fortify, Laravel Jetstream. These are all packages by which we can create Laravel login system, but here in this particular video I'll discuss about the Laravel manual login with minimum. As you see in this particular screen, this is a simple login form. If you're not putting correct email and password, then it will show you an error message. And if you are putting the correct username and password, just like Smith and password is password, then it is going to the profile page. And here it's also showing the name of the user and there is a logout link. When I'm clicking on the logout, I am able to log out from the system and it is going redirecting to the home page. And if you want to go to the profile page directly without login, then it is redirecting you to the login page. So two things I will tell you. One is how to implement the login and how to protect the URL. Let's try to understand what are the things we have to take care of create login. First of all, Laravel provides us a facade called auth. So this auth is used for login in our login. So I'll tell you how. So auth has a function called attempt. This function is used for the authentication. The main function here is the attempt function. The second function is logout function, auth logout, and this logout is basically used to log out from the system. It deletes all the sessions created during the login. Then last one is user function. This user functions give you all the current user information after the login. If you want to get current user information, so you can use auth user. And very importantly, Laravel uses the user table or users table or user model for authentication. When you install Laravel, automatically the Laravel install the user table, user model in your system. So as you see, the user enter the username, correct username and password, then it will go to the profile. If the user provides the wrong username, it will go to the user browser with an error message. So this is the authentication system. So in this code, I'll create some files, just like a user control I have to create. One blade file, login blade.php file I have to create where I have to put my login form, and web.php I have to create some router and profile blade.php. So this is my user model. When you install Laravel, automatically Laravel creates this user model. So this is my command prompt. So if you have not run the migration, use PHP artisan migrate and press. You have to run like this. Okay, press enter. Then it will automatically run the migration and it will create your users table. So as you see in my here, this is the Laravel project database and the user table is here. So when you run this particular screen command, create the table. So you first create the table. That means you have to run this particular command first. Then after creating the command, what you have to do is you have to create the controller first, user controller. So PHP artisan is a slide like this, make controller and user like this. And if you press OK, then it will create the controller. In my case, there is already user controller is there. That's why it's displaying. Otherwise, so you just create this. Now open my. So this is my user controller, and this is completely blank. What I have to do is create a function called, and this is the login to display the login screen. You just create a login.blade.php file in a resource view. So if you go to the resource, here is the resource and view. And just like you just create this login.blade.php file. Okay, so you just create this one. I have already created it. I'm using some layout. Don't worry about it. Method is post. Okay, simple form I'm creating, just like an HTML form. This is the form, close. Okay, and here I'm using some Bootstrap uh, div class and form group. Just creating a simple Bootstrap form. This is nothing to do with the Laravel. It's simple HTML. And here in the form, I have to use CSRF. This is my CSRF. And I'm creating a text box for the email. It is okay. I just copy this thing similar to this. I want to create one for the password and create another for. So the form is created. This is my form. I have to open the web.php file where I can create a route for the login page. Login, I'm creating a route here. User controller is a class, and here I want to call the login. So this is how, this is the thing I can create. Now open the browser. Simply what I did, I'm just creating my login page. Okay, now it is showing login does not exist. Go to the browser again and save all. Now it's the login is displaying at the top of the page. Now it is okay. The when I submit this form, here you see in my code, when I submit this form, action should be something like authenticate. I want to create this URL. Okay, this route. I'll save. Go to the web.php file, and here I want to create route. One is post. You have to write post because after submitting the form, it will call this thing authenticate. You can write anything here. This is a simple form. This is a simple, and I have to create one function in my controller. And you go to the user controller. Here this is my user controller, and here in this user controller I have to create a function public. I'll save. Here authenticate means after submission of the form, when you submit this particular form, you will call this particular function. So this function should have one object called request object. And why request object? Because I'm submitting the form. The request object contains all the data I'm submitting. This is email and password. This particular variable will receive the email and password. So this is the first step. So as I told you, I have to use the auth. I have to use the auth. Okay, this is the auth. What is this auth? Actually, this is the facade. Auth facade is you see here. So I have to use this auth attempt. Okay, so auth facade has been inserted automatically here, and I have to use this attempt. Attempt is asking for two things: email and password. So email is my request and email, and password is, so this particular function, what it will do is it will check whether the email and password is there inside the database or not, user table or not. So I am writing if, and if the user and password is there, that means if the if you have entered the correct username password, then it will execute this particular thing. So what I have to do, if the username password is there, if you enter the correct credential, then it will create the session ID for you. Redirect, return, redirect to profile page like this. So this will, if the user is logged in, then it will create our session, and then it will redirect the profile page. If the user is entering wrong credential, then what it will do, it will redirect to the login page with message. So that is return back. That means it will go back to the login page with errors, and the error is anything you can write. This is the error message. This is your message. Anything you can write the error message here. So in this way you can return to the, so this message should be displayed in your login.blade.php file. So here in this login.blade.php file, this is the heading, and below this heading I want to display the error message. So error, and if you write error failed, and in between this two I want to display my error message, $message. Fine. File save. Go to the browser again and refresh it. And the user and password, if it's wrong user and password, okay, submit. Then it is displaying the error message here. Okay, now it is working fine. Go to the Visual Studio Code again, and here this is the message I am showing, and this message I can put in a Bootstrap. File save. Is this an error? Okay, close it. Fine. Now if you are putting wrong username and password, and save, now it is showing this error. This is a text box also there. Remove it from group. Okay, fine. Now it is okay, I think. Okay, fine. Now, but it is showing like this, that there is no error, but it is showing this alert. So how to remove this? Because of this, it is showing the error message. The error message is not there, but it is showing this div. Okay. So you just do one thing, you just put this thing here. Fine, save. Go to the browser again and refresh it. Now it is okay. If wrong username password, it is showing the error message. If you want to put the correct username password, in my database I have a correct username password, thesmith@gmail.com, and the password is password. So if you put correct username password, suppose for example smith@gmail.com, and password is password, and submit. Now it is going to profile.page, but this file is not there. The page is not there because I have not created this particular profile. So I have to create a profile. Go to the controller. Here in this controller, I have to create one function, public function, profile, and here you just return view and profile. So profile is the route. So here I have to create a profile.blade.php file in my resource view. Before creating this, you just go to the web.php file and create a route here. Route, get, and profile. So this is my profile function. This is my profile function, and I have to create profile.blade.php file. So go to the resource view. This is my resource. Where is the resource? This is my resource and view. Here I am to get a profile .blade.php file. Just create like this. I've already created. So this is completely blank. Something I am using some layout. Don't worry about it. So here I want to write something like some HTML like, and here I want to create a logout a like this logout. This is the URL. I have to create a route for this. So go to the web.blade.php file. Here I have to create another route and the function name is logout. I have to create this one. Okay, I have not created yet. So this is the function I have to create. Go to the controller, user controller, and create this function. So at the bottom of the class, public function logout, and here you just auth, because I want to logged out. So you just use the auth logout. That's it. And dollar request, and here you write session. I have to use the session, so that's I have to use the request. Now here in the request object there is session. So there is a session. Here I have to create the reason a token and invalidated token request session invalid okay. So this is the command, session command. If you log out, then you have to invalidate the session, because I do not want to use the session now. And you can also regenerate the session token. File save. Now this is the logout commands, only 3 lines. Then you redirect, return, redirect, and you redirect the home page like this. Okay. So this is the logout screen. So now let's try. Go back to the login screen, and if you click here, now this is working fine. Invalid. My correct user is smith@gmail.com, and password is password. I'm writing password and submit. Now it is going to the profile page. You see, this is the profile page, and this logout. There is no name. It is not showing the name of the user just logged in. Logout, if you click logout, it is perfectly going to the home page. Here I am not able to display the user login. After login, I want to display the name of the user here. The login.blade.php file. Here you are logged as, where is that profile page? This is my profile page. Here I want to display the username. So how to display the username? This is important. Now we are able to logged into the system. It's fine. After login, it is going to the profile page. So here this is the authenticate. And if you see, after login, it is going to the profile page. Okay. So here, before going to the profile page, what I want to do is I want to retrieve the user information from the table. So how to get the user information, current user information? So as I told you at the beginning of the video, auth user, this is a function, and this function is, as you see, get current authenticate user information. Okay, so get user. So this is provide you all user information. That means the user data. So what I want to get? I want to get the name of the user. So here, this is the name of the user. Why I am writing the name? Because this is the name field in my database. If you go to the database, and if you see this, this is the name field. Okay. So Smith is there. So I want to retrieve this name. So that's why what I am doing is auth user. This is the current user and current user name. So I want to put this thing in a session variable. So I want to store this thing in a session variable. How to store this thing in a session variable? So you go to the request object, and the request object has a session, and the session has a function called put function. So this put function, I can create any variable. This is my session variable name, and here I want to store this thing in the name variable. Okay, but the session is a simple variable, global variable. We can create like this. Simply we just write like this. Session put means create, name is a variable I am creating, and I am storing the username in this particular variable. So this is the variable I have created. Now I just put a semicolon here and file save. Now after login, it is creating a session variable. Okay, it is creating a session variable name. So this session variable I can use in my profile.blade.php file. Okay, so this is my profile.blade.php file. Here I want to display the username. So you just write session, very simple, session and the name of the variable like this. So in this way you can create. Why I'm writing name? Because in my controller I've created this session name, so that's why I'm writing this. Okay, so in this way you can create the profile page. And so file save, go to the browser again, my login form, and if you see, if you write the correct username Smith and password is password, and save okay smith@gmail.com and say okay. Now it's going to and displaying the username also. And it is absolutely okay. I'm log out, going to the home page, and for example, now the second step is you are not logged in now, logged out. And if you want to go to the page, profile page, what is happening now? When you type the profile URL here, it is displaying the profile page. So this is a bug. Okay, this is a loophole in your login system. So if the user is not logged in, the user should not able to access this page. So how to protect this particular profile URL? This is my URL. This URL must be protected so that a authenticated user can only access. The guest user should not access this one. So how to do that? For that, you simply go to the web.php file where I have specified all my login URL. So here this particular line number 24, this is the profile URL. You have to write only one thing to protect it. How to do that? You have to write middleware I'll tell you, but you simply write like this, middle and auth. Here you have to write middleware and auth. So this particular URL is right now, this particular URL is now protected. If the user is authenticated, then only we can able to access this particular URL. So middleware and auth you have to write only. This is built-in functionality of Laravel. We can create middleware. I'll tell you about the middleware, but this is middleware and auth is able to protect the URL like this. So if you go to this now, if you refresh it right now it is going the login page. It is showing the login is not defined here. So there is an error message is displaying. So if you type profile and say okay, then it is okay. It is displaying an error message. Why this error? The login is not there. It is saying the login not defined. So what you have to do is here in this login URL, you just write the name, write like this, name of the URL. File save, and again you just write the profile here in the URL and just say okay. Now it is showing the login page. So here at, at the address bar, if you type the URL profile, it is not going to the profile page, it is redirecting to login page, because in my web.php file, I have specified the middleware is auth. So to protect the URL, you have to write middleware auth. This is the inbuilt one, inbuilt middleware, and you just specify the login name here. So this is the complete login system manually. When you are creating login system, if you want to test, you want to enter some data into your user table. So sometime you cannot go to this particular database and insert the data, because the username should be encrypted one. So what you have to do is to insert some data into your user table. If you don't know about the Tinker, I'm just showing how to enter one data into your database by using command prompt. So this is the command prompt. So this command prompt, you do one thing. You just write PHP artisan Tinker, and this is my Tinker cell. Just Azure and is equal to new. This is my model, user model. This is object. So this is user. I want to create my email, one new email I want to insert, that is test at gmail.com, and I want to enter user and password, and the password should be hashed. The password is password, okay, and the name of the user, I want to use user, and the user is username. Username is, now three information I have created: email and password and name. I will save it, user, and save. Now it is saved. If you go and say user, now this is my user has been created. And if you go to the browser, if you go to the database, and here is the database user table, and you browse it, then it is showing this. So go to the login, and if you type and the password is password, now you are able to logged into the profile page. Now you see this is the name of the user, and log out. So this is all about manual authentication in Laravel. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and share and like this video.